Hello friends, this is Vishruth. I am going to show one immortal game that was played by the great player Mr. Bobby Fischer. First he opens the game with e4. His opponent responded with c5, Sicilian defense. Knight f3, knight c6 was the main line, but here knight c6, d4, knight takes, knight takes, knight takes, queen takes d4, and d6, knight c3. This was played by all nowadays, but that time the French defense was popular one. There was a collaboration with the French and the Sicilian defense that was result of the Sicilian defense French variation. Okay, we will see the game now. Knight f3 and e6. Here Sicilian defense French variation. Okay, e6, d3. This was the Bobby Fischer's favorite move. Knight c6, g3. Fiancado the bishop in bishop g2 as the bishop's line is blocked. Knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, developing move, double O. Knight d2. Here knight c3 was bad because knight do not have any proper squares, because if the knight jumps to b5, it will be chased by the move a6. So it will be a bad move, so that it will be a loss of tempo. So Bobby Fischer played knight b d2. So rook b8. It is a very good move. Here we will put it. We will see how it is, because here it plans of b5. The b5 idea is to create a c5. In the Sicilian defense, in every variation there is no plan of c4, but in only French variation there is a plan to break in one d5 or else on c5. So here James trying to break out by b5 and c5. Let's see how he does. Rook e1, d6, planning to play b5, c3. Here this d4 square is blocked and b4. So his plan is being blocked by Fischer. b3. He is making such a stone wall structure, but the pawn is to be on e7, but it is misplaced on e6, which results in the blocking of the bishop's diagonal. So bishop have only square of a6 and b7. In future the bishop will develop it on a6, but it will be a problem. We will see that in next few moves. d4, e5, breaking out here. Here knight d4 was a mistake. Why knight d4 was a mistake? Black idea is to simply make it the knight post on its center square, but here the best move was knight e8. Knight e8 can be played after takes. The bishop is planting on f2, and the knight will in future will jump on f6 and d4. It will be a great position for black, but black missed that move and played that knight d5. So he should be punished by Fischer. But here the major idea is to play c4. Let me see how. Let me show it to you. c4, knight b4, a3, knight goes a6. The knight is back on a6 and it has no developing square. Now takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. After this move, white is winning. Why white is winning here? If black randomly played any move like king h8, white will take that bishop, and queen. After queen takes, queen is hanging. So the bishop should be guarded. If black got the bishop like this. We will now take that. After takes, it will be an amazing position after this, as this is not possible. Although white is a queen down of 4 points of material, white has a clear advantage of taking this rook. So after knight, if knight takes, it will be a mate in 1. So black cannot take. Black should take with this knight. After this, it will be a great position for white, as it is so active. This knight is hanging, so this should be guarded. If this play, this rook d3, everything is going. So Fischer missed a great position and blended with c4. So blended with, e takes d6. So e takes d6, bishop takes d6, knight e4. So now c4 was a blunder. This blocks the bishop and it is fully closed, and this is a loss of piece. It cannot move to any useful squares. So this is a great mistake. Although it is pointed as an inaccuracy, it can be computed and saved by a computer, but it is impossible to save playing a human. Okay, c4, knight into d6, queen into d6, knight. Here the best move was queen c2, pointing that h7 square, but excuse me, Fischer played knight g5. Although it is not a big mistake, it is only a loss of tempo. But queen c2 was more accurate. Okay, let's see knight g5. Knight g5, knight ce7. It was a clear blunder. The knight is wasting its own tempo and playing it on the, if other than knight e7, any move played, it could be better for black, but and black played knight ce7. Knight, we can play knight c, the knight d f6, or else g6 or h6. Anything could be possible, but knight ce7 was blunder. After knight ce7, queen c2. Queen c2 pointing that mate. Queen c2 pointing the h7 square, trying to mate the black king. So knight g6 protects it. But our next plan is going to be h4, h5, and pushing the knight away, deflecting the piece, and engrossing the black queen in the process of mating. So okay, h4, knight f6. Knight f6 was a pretty bit good move, as it comes to defend the h7 square, same way it defends the h5 square. Is knight doing a good job, but it does not coordinate with any other piece. This will be a great problem for black in the future, that Bobby Fischer exploited and won his game. Knight h7, deflecting this piece. After this, h5, knight h4. Brilliant move. Why this is a brilliant move means this is deflecting their own piece. If we take this, black is clearly winning. Black can defend everything as the material is equal, but white king is not so safe. It is a king safety was a major problem that time. Now also many great grandmasters lose their game because of king safety, but Bobby Fischer was smart and didn't take the knight and played the best move, bishop f5. Okay, takes. Now the rook was hanging there, so rook moves, h6. Here after rook move, everything is winning. Bishop h4, e4 was clearly winning, as it points out here. The king was too bad and every piece on the board comes to play. Okay, h6, queen into h4, king g7. King g7 was an utter mistake. you should not allow a king to get out and stay in wide open ranks and diagonals. The king comes out, it's clearly losing. After that, rook e4, it was a brilliant move, trying to trying to make a discover check with the bishop and taking out queen off the board. Okay, the queen saves it, trying to play rook g6, check f4. f5 was a clear blunder, because although it persuades us that it make the queen off the diagonal of the b1 to h7, it clearly gives a way for the bishop. So rook h3 in future. Okay, bishop makes it move on e4 and makes the check. Then the Bobby Fischer easily converts this winning position into a winning position. It is a very easy game after this. Check and mate. This was Bobby Fischer's fantastic game. Here the first move, which was quite strange, was pawn to d3, which looked quite strange. After g3 that both e2, e3, g2, all the three squares were looking somewhat unsafe, but he converted this into a fantastic ending with great middle game skills. Somewhat many middle game tactics such as deflections and king safety was played out by Bobby Fischer. It was one of his memorable games, and it was an immortal game by the Bobby Fischer. Okay, from this we understood the importance of the middle game tactics and deflections. So okay, in next video I will see you. Until then it's bye from Vishnu. Thank you.